Using Adobe InDesign CS5, we can create a slideshow from a graphic library, bring several images onto our layout at one time, overlay those images with a fade-in effect, and we can even control the order in which those images appear in our layout. This is done with the new animation panel, and I'll show you how to get started. Let's take a look at the InDesign document that we created to build our slideshow. I'm going to use the new mini bridge panel and select 36 images for our example. I'm going to drag them onto our desktop. No place command necessary. It's loaded up with 36 images. I'm going to click and drag, and as I do, I'm going to hit my right arrow and create an actual 3-column frame. I'll hit my down arrow and create 3 rows. And now you can see I've paginated everything, but there's a gutter in between. With our cursor loaded, let's go to the layout menu and let's specify a gutter of 0 from margins and columns and click OK. Notice my cursor is still loaded up. Click and drag again carefully, right arrow twice, down arrow 3 times. Now I've created a 12-section grid, and I can put 12 images in there at one time. I'm going to shift over to the Layers panel, lock down that first layer, and repeat the same process with the next images that I have loaded up. Right arrow key twice, down arrow key 3 times to create or place 12 more images, and we'll repeat that process again. To be on the safe side, I'm locking down those other layers, and I'll actually render them invisible so we can see what we're doing here again. Right arrow twice, down arrow 3 times. The remaining 12 images that we have, all 36 images, placed. I'll just unlock those layers again. Let's take a look at the animation panel. With my selection tool, I'm going to select all 36 images, go over to animation, and choose something simple like fade in. You wouldn't think that's all there is to it, but it is. I'm just going to export this as an SWF file, click Save, elect to open it up in a browser. Let's test it out. It's loading up, and you can see that my images are now placing one at a time in the order that I placed them in the document. And let's let it scroll through just so we can make sure that that second layer is overlaying the first one, and then we can make some tweaks to our design. Back to the InDesign layout, let's open up that animation panel once again and select all of those images in our slideshow. The duration was a little bit long, it was 1 second. We're going to just move the down arrow and just make it 1/4 of a second. That'll let us evaluate everything a lot faster. We know we want it to be faster than that 1 second we specified already. I'm going to go up to the Layers panel and notice in the new Layers panel, each of the elements that we have on a layer is actually their own separate element, so they can be turned on or rendered invisible, locked down on their own. Here's another element that we actually animated. If we go back to the animation panel, you can see that this one is actually going to fly in from the right. The other object at the bottom is going to fly in from the bottom. I'm going to select that first one again, and let's go to the new timing panel. At the very top, you can see those 2 images are supposed to appear at the same time, first in order. But we've also specified a delay of 5 seconds beyond that page load. The second element that's going to fly in from the bottom is going to delay 1 second after that. And now, in that timing panel, you can see that we've got all of the other images. I'm going to select 3, Control Shift or Control Select, click that merge button at the bottom, or linking button, and now we can bring 3 images into play at one time. Scrolling down to the very bottom, I'm just going to click and drag and rearrange the order of some of those images. And as you can see, they're all named the same way they would be in the links panel. This is how we can change the order in the sample that we created. We will have to go back to the layout on occasion and do this type of tweaking as we would anywhere else. But let's just export this again and note the changes that we made. I'm going to just overlay the document that we've created already. Accept the defaults, export, create an HTML file that's actually going to play our Swift file. You're going to see that delay of 5 seconds, and now we see that first element appear, delay of 1 more second, the other elements appear, 2 or 3 at a time. We can see that it's coming in a whole lot faster now. We'll probably slow that down and see those last ones are not in consecutive order. Back to the layout and tweak as many times as you need to create your own interactive slideshow.